Hey guys, I'm Oliver Kovács, a Hungarian musician. This is a step-by-step orchestration video with a real-life example where I present how to create the orchestration of the piece that you listen to in the intro. I'll cover every detail, so stay tuned. The main melody is played by the oboe. The oboe is a double reed instrument and requires less air than, for example, the flute. This makes it possible to play very long, sustained notes with an oboe. It's worth avoiding the highest and lowest notes in the range because the lowest notes are thick and honking, while the highest are weak and thin. The clarinet follows the oboe, typically in a fifth or a sixth part, but you can notice that the clarinet voice doesn't follow the oboe voice perfectly. I wrote this part this way deliberately because more independence can create a more interesting voice leading. I also switched between legato and sforzando because a change in articulation can break the uniformity. One of the bassoons played together with the clarinet, also typically in a fifth or sixth part. The bassoon follows the same rhythmic pattern as the clarinet. This creates consistency in the accompaniment. The second bassoon plays the bass voice, but it breaks the pattern at some point. In my opinion, it's a good solution when composers try to strike a balance between perfect adherence and independence. This makes the piece interesting, but not chaotic. The flutes play high notes above the main melody. If you have the woodwind skeleton, you can create an interesting orchestration with doublings. In my example, the first violins double the oboe, the second violins play together with the clarinet, the violas double one of the bassoons, while the cellos perform with the other bassoon. The double basses follow the cellos in an octave part. Do you want to watch my videos without the annoying YouTube ads? By joining my Patreon community, you'll get ad-free access to my videos along with exclusive MIDI and project files related to my content. Join now and support the channel. Thank you for your support. If you find this video helpful, hit the like button and subscribe. I used the third of some chords in the bass line, and in this case they are not mistakes. In the third measure, the first harmony is a B flat minor in root position, the second one is the same chord but in first inversion. If you have the root position first and the first inversion is just a transition chord, it's okay to use the third in the bass. In this case, if I didn't use the first inversion, I wouldn't have the third in the chord, therefore it wouldn't be a B flat minor at all. The second example is a G flat major, the 6th degree chord. Again, I have the root position of the chord previously and then I switch to the first inversion. It's a completely professional solution. Sometimes it's okay to use the third in the bass without having the root position chord previously. However, overusing the third in the bass line can make your composition unstable and uncertain. My advice is that you don't have to follow the rules blindly, understand why they exist, and then use them musically.